Hi everyone, my name is Diane and welcome to my channel Witchcraft is Political. So as you may know, I am a witch, and if you are someone who does not believe in witchcraft, or more precisely who is angry at witches or suspicious of witches or fears witches, I would already say this channel is not for you. And to others, I would say welcome, and especially if you chose this file for today's reading for question about your relationship with your mother, the pile with the pine cone, welcome. The card with the pine cone, let's say, yeah, welcome. As you know, on this channel, we also believe that we need to use our power in this material spiritual realm, which are one and the same, accountably. And one big part of using that power accountably is through healing, because healing allows us to not always end up filtering our power through our wounds, but rather to use it in its best and most generative or most effective way in a sense, right? So with that in mind, we are here to talk about how can you heal your relationship with your mother. And if you do not already know, this video is part of a video series, and this is like the third part of it. There are 4 parts, and in the first part of this video series, we picked a card, and this is the reading for the second card. So you can go in the description box below and see the link to the first part, and if you want to pick a card from there, you can do that. Or if you feel you just want to watch this video, you are most welcome to. If you feel called to watch this video, then there is a message for you. Nothing in the universe happens by mistake. It's all synchronicities, and that's what we believe here. So I would say that there is a message for you, but at the same time, please remember that these are general readings. So not everything I say here may resonate with your situation, because I'm in a way reading for a lot of people who are watching this right now, or have watched this, or will watch it in the future. But that being said, there's nevertheless still a message for you here, and that's why you have been called to watch this video. So with this card, we will see what the energy between you and your mother, the dominant energy between you and your mother. And we have a cheetah. Wow. So that's interesting. I'm already sensing a lot of sense of self and like ambition. And I feel like you and your mother kind of help each other, or have helped each other through various times in your life when you were having, both or either of you were having an identity crisis. But let's see more. We'll pull out some more cards. We'll use the Illuminated Tarot deck and pull out a couple more cards. One to indicate your energy in the relationship with your mother, and another to indicate her energy in this relationship. So just pulling some cards. Oh, okay. Those are 2, right? All right. So which one is where? Which one is your mother and which one is you? Is this right? Okay. Wow. Oh my god, like this makes so much sense. Like, we got 2 court cards, guys. So, like, this is amazing. I mean, this makes so much sense with the cheetahs because you are indicated by the energy of the King of Wands or the Magician in this deck, and your mother is indicated by the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. So it's a very, very, the way you have experienced your relationship with your mother is very, very, how do I put it? It's been very expansive, I feel, at one level. And I feel like it's a very different kind of energy from pile 1, which I did before. And this is almost like you guys have, to quite some extent, introduced each other to new ideas and new concepts, and or just opened new worlds for each other, and just made there's a sense of expansion, you know, like there's a sense of possibilities in this relationship. Like, you kind of help each other almost move beyond, you know, move beyond the status quo, move beyond your comfort zone, move beyond what you already know. And that is like, this is also like a very, I mean, this is also very, it's so cool that these cards cropped up, because like with the cheetah, it really makes sense. Like in between, it really kind of pulls it together. Because the King of Wands is also like a very creative energy, very experimental almost kind of energy. Yeah. And the cheetah is also about, you know, expansion and moving towards new things, you know, overcoming fears and overcoming blocks to what is possible, blocks to limitations. And I feel at least your early relationship with your mother has been very formative in that regard, about what you think is possible in your life. Let me just get a sip of water. And with your mother, like, she has almost been like this, a Queen of Pentacles, she's almost been like this rock in your life, like this, like, really stable presence, who has at the same time provided you all the things you needed to go out there in the world and make things possible for yourself. I also feel your mother or might have been like really someone who was close to plants and nature, might have been or is someone who's close to plants and nature, and just gardening maybe is something she likes. And she has passed, in a way, her fascination with plants to you as well. Yeah, at the same time, I am sensing that there are times your mother kind of, how do I put this, kind of looks up to you, and she kind of like looks up to you in a way which makes you feel that you have to provide for her or give back to her, or like do something which keeps up to her expectations of your possibilities. So, I mean, basically, your mother thinks the world of you, and this kind of makes you feel sometimes not as free as you would like to be. It makes you feel a bit constrained or constricted because, like, you sense this as pressure, or like you have experienced this as pressure, but it's never articulated it as pressure to do something or be something. No, but like that's how you have experienced it, and that in turn has sometimes brings out competitive streaks in you, which you do not always like. You do not always like how competitive you get, but and you may not even realize why you get like that. You may not even realize what suddenly makes you feel really, yeah, competitive, and like, starting to compare yourself with others and seeing what others have. And I'm like talking, not like this is in a general life context, not even the context of your relationship with your mother or anything like that. And you feel like competitive, so you think, but like at the same time you don't really know where it is coming from, but they're saying here right now today that this has some connection with how your relationship with your mother has been, basically this sort of like competitive feeling, and it has to do with, yeah, some areas in your relationship with your mom which need to be healed, which, and in general, though, I'm getting like this is an amazing relationship. I mean, yeah, but there is still a little work you both could do which could allow it to become even better. So let's see what that is. I also noticed something off camera. I took some time to meditate on the cards. Um, that your mother is probably more spiritual, or like has a spiritual side to her, which is not something you have always related to, and it might have also caused some little disagreements, I feel, between you both. Nothing major, but it's just uh, that part of her which you can't really understand or relate to. And I also get the sense that sometimes you feel, or sometimes you desire that your mother would express herself more, especially in terms of her affection towards you, and just like communicate more in a loving way, because sometimes she can feel distant, but at the same time you also like it's like almost like for you sometimes she feels distant but also simultaneously clingy. And I don't mean to disrespect anyone here, I just mean to say that this has sometimes be the perception of you, the way you have perceived your mother in the relationship you share. And there's nothing wrong with feeling a feeling, it's okay to admit it, it's okay to say it, and there's no judgment here. So I just want to say that. And with that, like, let's pull out some more cards, this time from the Celestial tarot deck, and let's see what's been kind of hurting you, what's been your wounds in this relationship with your mother. And let's pull out one card for that. What's been your wound in this relationship with your mother, or how you have felt like injured? What are your grievances? And I think another card I'd like to pull for your mother. Your mother seems to be like her energetically, I feel she is much more of a closed book than you. She's not very, she doesn't seem very expressive of her emotions. Yeah. At least not as expressive as you are. And sometimes you can find that frustrating too. Should we take these? Yes. All right. Wow. Wow, this is so funny because the two cards which cropped up here are Wands and Pentacles, and the earlier two cards were Wands and Pentacles too, from the Wands and Pentacles deck suit, right? So we have here Two of Wands, Cetus in reverse, and Sagitta, Ace of Pentacles. So this is a card which signifies you, and this for your mother. And like, I'm getting off the bat like that you could be a fire sign or have fire dominant in your chart, sun, moon, rising. So fire is Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, and your mother could be an earth sign. So we have earth sign, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Taurus. What are earth signs? Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Or she could have either of these signs dominant in this chart, in her chart. So yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's just this is not to, I'm not laughing at any one of you. I'm just like really fascinated by the energy between the two of you, and also like kind of relieved to be doing this reading because the last one was pretty intense. And this feels honestly a little lighter, not as heavy. So yeah, I'm glad about that. So yeah, I feel here the wound, something you have experienced with your mother, and this kind of relates to what I was talking about before in the Two of Wands, is you have always wanted, like your mother has always kind of like encouraged you to explore and be yourself and see the world, etc. And you have kind of really appreciated her for that, like at least she has been like really vocal about it, and or at least she has made this clear, and you have really appreciated this. But at the same time, it has brought a sense of not it has brought a sense of, but like at the same time, currently or recently, or maybe for a while, honestly, you have been feeling somehow bound, somehow like responsible, somehow constrained or constricted uh, by your responsibilities to other people in this world. And it kind of has Two of Wands is all about like exploration and expansion, what I was talking about before. But it it comes up in reverse, so which means that there has been some sort of feeling of like you're sensing those limitations almost, like you always knew you had responsibilities to fulfill to other people, and including your family and including your parents or your mother. Like you always had that like vague sense of it, but I think they are now eventually, or they have lately been coming uh, to you or appearing to you in their full force. And that has kind of ended up limiting your perception of what is possible for you in this life, and what can you do, and what can you make, or how far you can explore, because you are now thinking, oh, I have to seek that stability, and I have to you know build that life which my mother built for herself, or and could give me, then that kind of stability. So you are perhaps thinking of these things, and when you think of these things, it almost like comes the way you are thinking of it almost comes as a conflict between your free spirited part, which wants to just explore and experiment and just be themselves, and this part almost comes into this conflict of like having the stable job, responsible life, family life, etc. And and for your mother, like I don't I don't feel like this is something you can like really discuss with your mother, even though in the past you have often opened up to her about many things. But something blocks you from like really opening up to her about this kind of conflict, especially maybe a responsibility you feel towards her, which you then kind of ends up limiting what you think is possible for your life. I hope I'm making sense. Yeah, so I think you find it kind of hard to talk about it to your mother, because she is not the kind of person who has been very open to you about her emotions. She has been like the provider, and at one level, this has been really great for you because obviously she gave you everything she could and everything you would need materially. But there's sometimes been an emotional block, honestly, and this is hard for you and in this relationship, in the sense that you want this relationship to go deeper. You want to be able to talk about emotions in a way that she also talks about her own. You want it to be kind of a reciprocated conversation. You want it to be that conversation about your emotions to be two ways, not just you feeding in your or like bearing your soul and she acting like your mother, you know. You want to, in a way, you want to relate to her as a person, not just as your mother, but you want to relate to her as a person in her own right. So you want that equal emotional sharing. But this is very hard. This has not been the case really with your mother and in your relationship. Like, I feel your relationship, like, you guys have shared a lot and you have shared a lot of like different, shared in a lot of different phases of life. You have communicated, but usually this communication has not been like so deeply like it's not been a free exchange of emotions and not a two-way exchange of emotions, but maybe you guys have like talked about specific situations and you have sought your mother's advice and she gave you good advice, and like it's almost like you have been in this seeker role, and she has like been in this giver role, right? And like there have been like specific projects, specific situations in your life with which you have sought her advice and she gave you that, but now you want more, right? You want more in this relationship and you want to be treated as an adult at some level. You don't want it to be a relationship where it's only this one way traffic of advice where you kind of speak up about your emotions but then you don't get the same from her, and you basically you want more. You want to take this to another level and you want to be able to relate to her as a person, because for her, like motherhood and this relationship for her has really been a lot about providing and providing for your best in life, including your emotional and material needs. I'm not saying that she's not emotional or she has not provided for you emotionally, but that's the thing. She has only provided. It doesn't seem that she has been very emotionally receptive. She's a giver and she has given and given, right? And you want to know, hey, what's more? What's there's got to be more here, right? Like, I feel like a part of you, maybe not that consciously, but a part of you almost wonders who is your mother as a person, really, like if she were not your mother, for instance, would you guys still be friends. And you kind of want that dynamic now. You want an adult dynamic, basically. And this is something which is hurting you right now in this relationship, because it's hard to communicate about this to your mother, I'm feeling. And at the same time, because she's not very vocal about her emotions, and at the same time you don't want to like say something which you feel like, I opened up so much and I spoke so much, and at the end of the day I just like nothing happened. I didn't get as much back in terms of not her providing for your emotional needs, or like advice or something like this, but just in terms of her opening up. And that can feel, that lack of reciprocity, I think, can feel quite lonely. So I think there are instances in this relationship where, despite your mother always being there for you and doing her best, and you have appreciated that, but nevertheless you have felt lonely, because you haven't felt that there is as much space to talk about your emotions, and also have her talk about her emotions in the same way. And I think this was okay when you were a kid, because kids need that space to kind of grow up and be taken care of, and talk about just what's happening with them. They need like that focused attention of a mother. But as kids grow up and pass into adulthood, it's not really the same, right? It's not, the relationship dynamic changes, and different expectations crop up, different ideas about what is possible in this relationship crops up. And it's almost like, it's interesting how this arrow is pointing away, like the cheetah is pointing towards you from your mother, but the arrow is pointing away. So it's like your mother has poured all these like energies of expansiveness and good things and best. She really wants your best. She has poured that into you, but then she's also a closed book. So like when it comes to her emotions, she goes in some other directions. And I feel like most of this she kind of does to protect you. But I think what she is like not opening up emotionally to you in the same way, I think she does it to protect you, because she still thinks of you as a kid, and kids are not supposed to process their parents' emotions, right? But you are not a kid anymore, and you want to know the woman behind the mother, right? And I don't think she really realizes that this relationship needs to change. Its parameters need to change. There needs to be a new dynamic between the two of you. She still sees you as a kid, and you don't know quite how to have that conversation, right? Or what to even say. Yeah. think a lot of your mother's emotional, how do I say it? Let's say restraint comes from her own family and how she was raised. And I feel like in her family of origin, being overtly emotional was not considered very good. So she, and this is a patriarchy, right? Like where emotions are also frowned upon, because, and therefore women are frowned upon because women are emotional, or they're seen as emotional. And there is this strain I'm getting about, yeah, a display of emotion or an expression of emotion was not really, her family of origin didn't really have the kind of space which allowed for that to happen freely, where emotions were validated when they were expressed. And that kind of became internalized with your mother, like the idea that you shouldn't be too emotional. And I think watching you grow and seeing how you live your life at some level is really an inspiration for her, because she sees how emotional, how you are able to express your emotions so freely, but she doesn't feel at the same time that she is in the same place. She, it's weird, I'm getting all these like throat blockages right now. So I'm getting like this is really something your mother cannot, uh, she does not have the words to say this or express this to you. She, she really, she, okay, I was not expecting this, but like, I think this is a channel message from your mother that she wants to say that she really admires how you can be so free and expressive with your emotions. And if you ever think that she is disapproving or like she kind of doesn't care about that side of you, because she doesn't express her emotions in the same way, or if it has ever made you feel like small, then she's saying that don't, like that's not her intention. She really admires how, uh, she really admires the emotional intelligence I'm getting. She really admires how you can be expressive and you're not like scared to share what you are really feeling with her, but with people in general. And she wants to say that, yeah, she's not at the same place. And a lot of this really has to do, I'm feeling like this has to do with her family upbringing, where, yeah, expressing emotions almost made her, like whenever she expressed an emotion, like when she was a kid, it was not validated really, it was not reciprocated. And in some way, like she brings it to you. So in this way, this is like the intergenerational traumatic experience which is passing down in this line. But yeah, but like she just does not know how to speak about it. She is not, uh, it's not just you, it's not as if she knows her everything which is going on even inside of her, and then she does, Like sometimes she finds hard to express her emotions even to herself. It is hard for her to name her feelings. And she just wants to tell you that please, please, please don't feel, mm, you know, lessened by her lack of expression. Please do not feel that she does, she thinks of you less, or no, she thinks less of you. Please don't think that, uh, don't let her response to things you say, or her lack of emotional response to things you say, hinder you from expressing your emotions. But, and this is what I am getting from spirit mother goddess's advice, is that you must at the same time then maintain your boundaries in this relationship, because if you don't always feel safe expressing around her because you want reciprocity, uh, it is okay to not always express around her. That's fine. This is what mother goddesses are saying. It does not matter what she feels or what her intentions are. What matters at the end of the day is what she does. And when you can take this into account, that's when you can really relate to her as an adult, because then you are treating her uh, as you would treat any other friend or adult friend, right? Like who you know, and not someone who's just reduced to a mother or a mother figure. So that's kind of the message which is coming through here. Let's get some advice for you. Let's get some advice for you from the Archangel Animal Oracle deck. And let's see what comes up. I also quickly want to say that, the signs I named, that one of you are a fire sign and she is an earth sign. I think they can be reversed also. Oh, what is a moon card doing here? Huh, maybe the moon cards were supposed to be here. I don't know. Okay, let's get some advice. They're not supposed to be here. Yeah, so I quickly wanted to say that it could be the case that you are the earth sign and she is the fire sign, or like you have earth in your chart, which is Taurus, Capricorn, or or what is the Virgo. And she could have fire in the chart, fire dominant, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So those could be reversed. Okay, advice. Wow. So let's pull out one more. Wow. So this is a fucking confirmation. Sorry for my language. This is how I speak. This is a confirmation from spirit, like for everything we have said so far. Confirmation from animal spirits, mother goddesses. Oh, thank you, thank you. So they just want to say they are here with you. Ladybird, accept happiness and good fortune. Archangel Premilek. So this card is all about letting go of guilt and being okay with the good things which are happening in your life, including the good things which happen in this relationship, and not being so focused on the things which are wrong. I mean, I know you want another level of this relationship with your mother, and I understand that really also at a personal level, but you know, it's okay to accept it for what it is right now, and that's also pretty good. Like, it's not all bad, right? So instead of focusing on what you don't have, they are asking you to accept what you do have in this relationship, but also in your life, generally. But I think it has to do with this relationship specifically, and this will allow you to heal what you think, what you feel is missing. It may also, once you accept what you have, it may also pave the way for a different level of relationship with your mother, a different kind of relationship. And I also want to say, if you see a ladybird, this is a reminder that the archangels are with you and guiding you in this relationship. It's also a sign that your mother is thinking of you and that just accept happiness and good fortune. And yeah, don't get swallowed by guilt, right? Remember that. And the other card we have is Llama. Set clear boundaries and enforce them. Archangel Samuel. Like literally what I said right before pulling these cards. The channeled message from goddesses, which was just confirmed with the card. Set clear boundaries with your mother and enforce them. Boundaries are not the opposite of love and closeness. Boundaries are the structure which enable closeness. So if you think setting boundaries is kind of making you go further away from your mother emotionally or something like this, know that that's not true. You might not see it now, but it is a distinct mode. Setting boundaries is a distinct mode to actually steer your relationship at a deeper way. This is not about setting walls. There's a difference between walls and boundaries. This is not about putting up walls, but this is about expressing your expectations of the relationship. A boundary is, in essence, an expression of your expectation in the relationship through action. Yeah. And walls are the lack of any sort of expression. So see, that's the difference. And the thing is with boundaries, when you set and express your are able to express through words or actions, but most importantly actions, what your expectations are of this relationship. You kind of give the other person a hint about where you want to head in this relationship, and that can pave a way to a deeper relationship, if it's meant to be. And I mean, considering it's your mother, it could well mean to be. Right? So yeah, they are just like confirming this, reminding you again to not feel guilty about setting boundaries. You are doing a good job, and boundaries is actually what are gonna lead to healing in this relationship as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Really, really like hearing from you guys. And see you in another one. Like and subscribe if you feel called to. And have a great week, month. Well, have a great week. Bye.